Yes, I think I'm intensely creative. I'm creative in every way. I'm musically creative, dramatically creative, literally creative. I like to think I'm even sexually creative, so I'm creative in every way. I don't see the way I've created my books as a creative process. It was a process of inspiration. I didn't set out to write a book. I didn't decide, I know what I'll do. I'm going to create, a text about what God would say if he talked to humanity or anything near to that. It was not a creative process. The emergence of my books occurred as a result of a moment of deep desperation and deep inquiry and sincere longing, a vast yearning to know why my life wasn't working, what it takes to make life generically work for anyone. What it was I didn't understand, the understanding of which would change everything. And so that yearning for life to explain life to life through the process of life itself, that's what generated the books. So it wasn't a process of creation, at least not conscious creation. Of course, everything we do, you understand, is a process of creation. There's nothing we don't do that is not a process of creation. There's nothing that we do, I should say, that's not a process of creation. So in every moment we're creating something. But I assume you meant the question as a conscious creation, that is a deliberate creation. And I can't say that my books were deliberate creations. I don't see any difference. When you ask, does creation come from within or from a higher consciousness or a higher place? You're suggesting by the nature of the way the question was asked that there are in fact two different places. I don't experience there being two different places. I experience there being only one place. So deep within and higher consciousness are both the same place to me. It's merely a matter of whether I have found a way, developed the ability to access the higher place that resides deep within. I've looked at that, and my honest answer at this point in my life is no, because I've done all the creation in those areas that I want to. I've directed stage shows, I've appeared on stage, I've appeared in motion pictures, I've conducted symphony orchestras, I've done almost all the things in the creative field that I've ever wanted to do. And I was just musing with my wife not that many months ago, gosh, what if there's left for me to do? Because I've just had such a wonderful, wonderful life. So I think now it's just a matter of doing it again. It's like making love; you can't get enough of it. But creativity does have that same allure, actually, which is why making love is a process of creating new life, for that matter. And so there's an impulse, really, and not to be cute about it, but sincerely, there's an impulse toward creativity in all of its aspects, including the action that creates new life. And that impulse is undeniable. And even when you've done all that you can imagine yourself creating, you're going to want to do it over and over and over again. I have an interesting story about that. My father used to make the greatest apple pies in the world. He was known as the great apple pie king. His pies won blue ribbons at all the county fairs. You couldn't make a better apple pie than my father. One day when I was about 12 years old, I came down to the kitchen and saw my father, flour everywhere, making an apple pie. I said, "What are you doing?" Because he only did it at Christmas time, once a year. I said, "What are you doing?" It's the middle of summer. He said, "I'm making a better apple pie." I said, "You can't make a better apple pie. You've won every blue ribbon, every award there is for your apple pies." He said, but there's a chance. There's a chance I could find a way to make it even better. I think that opportunity, the allure of creating something even more than we have already created, it is what motivates human beings to do what it is they do, even when they apparently have done it all. Obviously, what stops people from creating is fear that somehow their creation will not be accepted, that they or their creation, or both, will be rejected. And so if you're paralyzed by that fear, you're not going to create, obviously. The trick, of course, is not to give a damn. The trick, of course, is not to care. The trick, of course, is to understand the purpose of creation. The purpose of creation is not to elicit a response. It's not to produce a particular kind of reaction. The purpose of creation is to express something inside of you that resides so deeply and burns so hotly that not to express it would be the death of you. And so you express it and allow it to flow forth and to manifest itself in the way that it will. And what happens after that is of no matter, of no concern to you. The optimum condition for creativity is fearlessness, which is the opposite of what stops people from creating. Fearlessness. And then I think a willingness to honor one's own personal process. That is, a willingness to say to anyone who is in your environment, I need these following conditions to exist in order for me to be fully creative. In my case, for instance, my writing is done from 4:30 in the morning until 9:30 in the morning most days. And I insist with those around me, not that I have to insist because they grant me that opportunity, but I insist if I had to. That is my sacred time. Don't even come anywhere near me. Don't come within 500 yards of me. Don't knock on the door, don't ring the phone, unless the building is burning down. And so I give myself that. I honor my process. So I think that that's also a second necessity. One, fearlessness. Two, an ability to be strictly honoring your own process, whatever that looks like. And to not deny that process and not deny yourself, and don't compromise on the process by which you create. Also be consistent. Give yourself permission to be creative in the way that speaks most loudly to you every day of your life. Don't create once a year or once a month. Don't wait for the muse to somehow strike you. Have the discipline to say, no, I'm a creative artist, and I'm going to create every single day of my life. I don't create when the muse calls upon me. I call upon the muse, and she says, I'm ready when you are.